What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ian's Life. Today we're working on getting the Chinook home so we can start work on it. Stay tuned. So what we're doing right now is we're about to pull the wings off of the airplane so it can go out on the trailer. You can see we've actually got a fuselage that's going to go in here to make some room back at the shop. But this is pretty simple. There's a cover that comes off the center. We've already got that off. And then we just got to pull some bolts front and back and down at the wing struts. And these wings should drop right off there. Conveniently, the controls are all linked right there, so there's not a lot of unhooking to do. So I think that we'll jump back to time lapse here so I can get my hands free, get the nuts off of everything, and get these wings off. And that's got it. The wings are off of the airplane. The fuselage is ready to go ahead and pull out of here. So I think we're going to get that on out, get it on the trailer, and get headed back for home so we can start getting this into the shop and getting on to work. Well, we knew at some point something was going to get us caught out here, and guess what it was? We brought my widest trailer. The airplane is wider than the trailer. So what are we gonna do about that? Well, thankfully, I think we have a solution. Thankfully, wheels go almost entirely to the outside of the hubs. So I think what we're gonna do is pull these off. Hopefully that's going to buy us enough width in total that we will have to carry it, but we'll be able to get it on the trailer and secure it. So, well, we knew something was going to get us at some point. I guess this is hopefully this is the thing and we don't hit another one. And that worked. It took a few more people than I thought it was going to. Thankfully, we had a group guy sitting down around the corner, just swapping lies after flying, or well, in case of this weather, instead of flying, because we're at glider port, so glider pilot's not really flying in this, but airplane is secure. We're on the trailer. I think we're just going to slowly ease our way back home, keep an eye on things, but this should work. So we're back, and obviously the airplane is off of the trailer. Sorry I didn't film anything pulling it off. We're quickly running out of light here. It's right at dusk. So we wanted to make sure we got this off before it got dark. I can take my time to do a little bit of reorganization in the shop because that has lights, but had to kind of be in a hurry to get this guy off. And we made it just in time because I'd say we're 15 or 20 minutes from pretty much dark out here. So I'm probably going to cut filming in here and get the airplane in, and then we're going to jump forward to taking a look at the airplane, figuring out what we're doing. So let's jump to that. And it's the next day. We are back at it. We're a little bit under the weather here. Sore backs, busted knuckles from yesterday, but the plane is in the garage. We've kind of been staring at it already yesterday evening and this morning, kind of figuring out what our plan of attack is. There's a lot of stuff that needs to come off, first of all, before we can even really figure out exactly how we're going to get into the rest of it. So we're going to go ahead and jump back to time lapse and get into disassembly. Oh, and real quick before I get us back into the time lapse, let's talk about the order of operations. I've kind of made a notepad for myself. Our big task is getting the engine off. Since this is going to be prototyping a new gearbox and it's going to be my demo airplane for the Yamaha, this is kind of the center point of our initial work. I know that it actually was down the list that I made in the last video, but it's such a central piece of what we're doing that we're starting with it. So that has to come off, but for that to come off, a lot of peripherals have to come off. Radiator, prop, throttles, all the electrical, oh, come on, focus. All the electrical system for the airplane has to come out. The fuel system, what is left of it, because we've just got the lines coming in over there. So all of that's coming out. The seats will be coming out to aid that. The glass will be coming off to aid that. Basically, the airplane's going to get pretty well stripped down. But with a little luck, today we can muster up enough energy after yesterday to go ahead and at least get everything ready to get the engine off, if not actually get it completely off of the airplane. So let's jump over to that time lapse and get to work. And that's a good morning of work done. We've got everything on the engine unhooked at this point. I think we are ready to put a hoist on it and lift that sucker off at this point. Unfortunately, I'm working this afternoon, so I gotta run out of here and take care of things, so I don't get to play for the afternoon. But maybe this evening, maybe tomorrow, we'll come back and actually get the engine off of the airplane. And it's a new day. We did get everything pulled off the engine last time, but we did not get to pull it. So I think we're gonna start today out by getting the cherry picker out of the other shop or figuring out how we're going to lever this thing off of here without it. Either way, engine's gonna come off and then we're gonna start into the remainder of the cleanup forward of the engine in the cabin area. Boy, have we ever had a good day of work today. So the big thing is the one ahead of me here, or the lack thereof. The engine is now down over here. The 582 is. Yamaha is sitting there waiting to move on to its new home. But we got way more than that done. All of the remaining items in the back are now off. So all of the wiring, the throttle cables are still there just because they are hooked up to the throttle itself, but so much more. No glass. For access, because this was easy to pull off, we went ahead and took all of the glass out of the airplane. And we did more than that. The seats, the front one was already out, but the back one is now out as well. All of the pitot, all of the static, all of the wiring, pretty much the only thing still in here, we still have flap and aileron cables, we still have brake lines, the panel's out. Like I said, all the pitot static is unhooked up here, but at this point, the airplane is pretty much a shell of itself. So let me switch to in front of the camera and do a little segment I call, Did We Actually Need to Do This? So one thing you're going to see me do a lot in this video series is talk about what you might want to do versus what I'm doing on my airplane. We've done a ton of work today that isn't necessary for everybody. The necessary portions of this, the engine had to come off to put the 4-stroke on. The wiring had to be at least partially disassembled because a lot of it was specific to the 2-stroke, and also because the 4-stroke is going to require a little bit of a rewire, but some of that could have stayed. The instrument panel coming out, all of the glass coming off of the airplane, the pitot static strip out, all of that stuff, that's because for my own desires, I want to redo it to my way. I can't help it. I'm a tinkerer, but you probably wouldn't have to do that. If you purchase a good airplane, you can leave that stuff well enough alone. So something to keep in mind if you're thinking about doing something like this when you buy an airplane, try to minimize the amount of work you're doing. Don't be me. Now, at the end of every episode, I'm going to talk about how much money we've spent and kind of take a review of where we stand against our $20,000 objective. We have not spent much money yet. As a matter of fact, the only thing we've done is actually make some money. The 582 did sell. I did not get to sell the prop because it went to somebody who needed a tractor configuration instead of a pusher, so we still have a prop to sell, but I did get rid of the engine and the engine monitor for it. At $3,600, that leaves us all invested at $8,400. Now, that's all going to change shortly as we start to spend money, but for right now, we're in the green. And that's disassembly pretty well done on the Chinook. Now, there's a lot more to come. We've already been working on some stuff that I don't have in this video yet, so there's a ton of video to follow on the heels of it, of us building it back up. We're already well on our way to back in the air, but back on what you've just seen, the assembly went really well. We've already sold our engines, so we're financially ahead. We're in a really good position to meet our goals. For right now, I'm going to get back to working on the airplane and editing the rest of these videos so you guys have some more to watch soon. So if you liked this video and you want to see more of what's coming soon, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.